Hey guys, this is Eric Weingarten with Weingarten Racing. I'm gonna make this a really short video. This is cool. I just picked this up today. This is a small block Chevy, but this isn't just an ordinary small block Chevy. So obviously it's got my heads on it. But let's see what the date is on. 2020. So 2020, right at the end of COVID, or beginning of COVID, I should say, is when this one was done. But this engine is I think it's actually a 421 now. I think it started life as a 414. So it was a 4125 bore, 3875 stroke. But this is a circle track engine for a true circle track. It ran in a modified, IMC modified, the A modified, not B mods. And it did really well. So it ran for, I think, a season or so. And I'm sorry about the noise if you hear the wind. But it ran for like a season or so. And it went in for a freshen up. And there's some more cylinder wear. So what they did is they, you can tell the water pump stuff too. They coated the pistons to take up that. Well, about halfway through the season, it cracked the piston on one of them. Luckily, it didn't do any damage, just smoked real bad. So they caught it early, tore down, replaced pistons, Lucid rebuilt it. They refreshed the heads and everything. And that's where I'm like, that's the hard part, because I know it's not the same valve job profile as what I use, because they want to do their own stuff, which I get. Even though I told them it's a 50-degree valve job, be careful on this stuff. Anyway, when they put on the dyno, it was down. It went from making 697s, what it started off with at Dunsworth. And Dunsworth's a tight dyno. It's not a high dyno for sure, as you can tell from all my videos. But it was down to like 650 or something. He put it back in the car, and he's like, yeah, it's for sure slower. So anyway, they are out of racing. They're just done. They're done with the modified. They're done with circle track. They're just flat out done. So it's been sitting here at their shop for years. So he's like, do you want to just take it and do whatever with it? And I said, yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it back on the dyno and dyno test that as is, see where, because we have already have the dyno numbers from Dunsworth before, to see if it changed any. And then I'm gonna see how I can improve this thing to make it better. And that's where you guys come involved. So if you have parts that you would like to see tested specifically for circle track, so all the other stuff is pretty much drag racing or street strip, kind of. This is strictly a circle track engine, and I'll show you some of the cool things with it in just a minute. But if there's something you're like, man, I've got this manifold, I think it's really good for this, let me know. Think of an IMCA modified, or a Grand National. If there was classes that allowed aluminum heads, that'd be great. And there may be some now, just not in our area yet. Let me know. So if you got something you want to see tested, we'll see if we can't throw it on this. But I'm gonna do some baseline. This is pretty good. Here's the basic specs for it. Cali's Compstar crank, Compstar rods. I'm not sure whose pistons are in it now, but it's about 13.5 to 1. You can tell it's got the mechanical water pump, because that's what they run in circle track. You see those big old water lines that come off? This is how we cool the heads better. So I'm gonna show you this. If you're small, I'll show you guys. See that outlet right there? It connects into there. So on a Brodix, we can tap right here and the water will come in there. So it's feeding right where the two exhaust ports are to keep it cooler from there. And then top side, you got where it comes out of the head right there in the manifold. It goes to the water neck. So there's a constant water flow that goes between the center ports to keep it from having any head gasket issues, although in circle track it's unlikely. But it keeps things more uniform, it works better. It just is. And then, because it's circle track 2, it does have an oil cooler. That's what these two are for. And he had an oil cooler in the car. He had tried, and several people do this, run without one, which is fine. But your oil temperatures will for sure get hot, even with this Billo oil pan that's on here, because it's been so hot that it started peeling off the paint on the filter. Hot. So oil coolers are used, just the nature of the beast, the way they run. It ran on race gas, not methanol. So it's got an oil cooler. The pan itself, this thing's huge. It's a Dan Olson's, and it's got the kick out on the side, but it's the entire way. Because it's a modified, you don't necessarily have a cross member that's coming through this thing. So that helps a lot with the windage, but the other thing, it has more capacity. There's some tricks inside, obviously, for the oil control. That's hard to see from the outside, but there's a lot of stuff to keep it where it needs to be oiled. And then you've got this. This is back of the head. That right there is tapped. That's an oil drain. You notice it's on this should be the passenger side, because when it kicking in the turns, all that force is forcing it this way. So they put it only on this side. You could put it on that side, but they, as well, if you want to be super safe, but they always put it at least on the passenger side. So as it's going in the turns, as the whole thing is this way, it feeds down directly into the pan. So quicker feedback. This is a Dart little M block too. So this is all nice stuff. The heads are these are my, this is, you could tell in 2020, Broduct used to do the engraving for me. They won't engrave anymore. They'll just do that laser etching or whatever. It's not as near as good at looking at these. These are the Dragon Slayers. I poured them. These are a 242. So it's a 210 intake valve, 1/600 exhaust valve. I think they flowed right at 330. They're not a drag race port. I mean, they're 242 cc's, but they're not like my 253, which I'm tempted to try a 253 on here to see if there's any difference. Up top, it's got the Holley, which he blasted, and I hate when people blast. Like, I blast stuff to clean it up, but I don't use this like this to make it look this gray powdery, because to me it just looks used. So mine may not perfectly look as clean, but it looks like it closer to new than that. But anyway, I poured in the manifold. It's a Holley 300-110. It's that Dorton version, and it's a spacer up top. MSD Pro Billet. I gotta find the adapter though. So I just noticed this when I picked it up. That's the adapter. We're running on a Craig trigger. Well, this runs just off this, but there's an adapter just go to the other plug so it can go into the normal stuff to run the MSD box. I gotta find the adapter for that. Other than that, we're gonna be on the dyno with this. Probably, I don't know, maybe I'll just put it on a couple weeks. But it should make some fairly decent power, I think. But anyway, that's the scoop. And I want to end with one more thing. Can you guys please, I'm begging you, stop making everything political. So yesterday's video, I talked about the tariffs on the heads, which you're like, you made it political when talking about it. I only mentioned it to say that you can't, or you're going to start having a hard time getting heads. And sure enough, some of the comments, I didn't even mention the president's name on purpose. I don't care about the policies or none of that. I'm just mentioning it as it relates to cylinder head parts, because that's what my channel is. Cylinder heads, racing, that stuff, dyno stuff. How does it relate to that? That's all I did. And people just come unglued on the comments. Stop making everything political. It's not that. And by the way, some of you are like, you're fear-mongering. No, if I wanted to fear-monger you, I'll tell you this. Think of the crankshaft in this engine, or just about any engine that's out there right now. Most of them are made in China. So I'm just going to run down just a list, the ones that are made in China, and I'll tell you how many are made in America. This is the Callie's Compstar, not the Callie's, the Magnum. Compstar, China. Scat, China. Eagle, China. Lenati, China. Manly, China. Mulliner, China. Let's see, RPM I don't think exists anymore, but it was China. K1 also was China, which they don't think they exist anymore. So what's left? There's one. It's Callie's, and it's the Magnum. So even if right now you can get all the cranks they're used to, or temporarily, you cannot get a Magnum crank quick, even if you ordered it, period. So now all those cranks I just mentioned that are made in China, they're all gonna get the higher tariffs. So it's gonna cost, the one piece that every engine has to have is a crankshaft. But it's going to cost more, and let alone just getting them. That's what I was trying to get at. But you guys made it political, some of you. It's not political, I'm just warning you. If you need a crank, you should get it now, because it's gonna have a much harder time getting it later. And they're for sure going to cost more. So, yeah, that is what it is. And if you're like, well, what about Howard's? Callie's makes Howard's cranks. So, anyway, just stop the political stuff. I don't care who's president. I will never fly a president's flag in my yard, I'll tell you that, no matter who the president is, because I don't care. That's politics. You guys can watch the Fox News or CNN, CBS, whatever. I don't watch that stuff. My only news I get is the 5-minute NPR news podcast every day. And that's every 20 minutes. It's just facts. I don't listen to any of the talking heads. I don't want to listen to that. So that you can keep that world. Just stop making everything anybody says political. It's not. It's just get a crankshaft now, because you won't be able to get them. They'll be more expensive. Same with the heads. Anyway, but back to this though. If you got something you want to get tested, I do plan to do this. We'll see what happens. And this should be fun. Fun. Think of strictly circle track. This is all averages I'm worried about on this one. So, and this guy, his averages, so they had a rev limiter, I think they had it at 7,800 RPM. You could not go past it because of the rules. So we know we're not going past that. Probably from 45 to 7,800 every time. And that's whatever makes the most in that range is what the focus is for this. I would love to get that team back together for them, but they got some relationship things they got to work out and get this back in the car and go have some fun and win some races. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Remember, I'm no Superman. I hate politics. I don't pork cast iron heads. You guys take care.